And here's the magic thing about goals. You say that you whatever sales you're in, you know, or whatever service you have, even the salon. Let's say that, you know, somebody's going to come in, and I don't know what an average month salon spa thing would be, but let's just say 10. And so you glance at this, you have it somewhere where you can see it, you see that you only have 8. Now, if it's near the end of the month or near the time that you've set to have that goal accomplished, right away your mind goes like, wow, I need 2 more. Where am I going to get them? You would be surprised if you look at it like that and say, where are these people going to come from? How they'll come. It's just kind of like, it's not like The Secret, because I don't believe just sitting there and wishing. You know, that's not a plan or a strategy. But the bottom line is, when you are concentrating on your goal, there is such a thing as the law of attraction. It's like, you know, if you buy a car, you buy a red car. You know, I haven't seen a red car and I don't know when. But I bet if I bought a red car, all of a sudden I would see so many. It's just like when we do something, you know, it just seems like they're there. We notice them. So that would be a really good thing. That's what you need to do. You need to have it there. You need to look at it. I took a really expensive course once called Orbit. And when I had an office, and these guys flew into from California like monthly to teach us this course for like a year. And they suggested that we get colored pencils, and they say color is magic because people like to do color. And the reason it's nice if you have them in the blocks and you actually write in the things, it helps you to concentrate on what you're really doing. And it's kind of a good feeling. I don't know if anybody else is a list maker, but I love making lists. And I'm not a detail-oriented person at all. But I do like making lists, and the reason I like making lists is so I can check it off. Now, another magic thing about this whole goal situation and keeping up with it like that is sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but myself, sometimes I feel like that I'm doing really good, and I'm not. But I feel like it. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing really bad, and I feel like, why am I even doing this? You know, everything is going wrong. It's just like I can't do this, I can't do that. But if I have my goals to look back on and see what I've accomplished, then I can see, well, I guess things aren't that bad after all. So they keep you sort of on an even keel, because we really can't trust our feelings. We really can't. I bet you that I could go around the room and say, you know, and I wouldn't, but I could say, you know, are you happy? Are you happy in all areas of your life? And there are people who probably say, yeah, I am. But then, when they really got down and thinking about it, and I might even say, is there anything in your life that could be improved? Anything at all? You know? And they say, you know, I can't think of anything. I'm just good. Well, unless you were, you know, the amazing person that would be perfect, there are things that you probably would like to change in your life. Or maybe not, you wouldn't like to, but if they did change, you would just be so much happier. You would just be so much happier. You'd have so much less stress. So you want to make that business go. If there's something that you know, you want to change, like your job, you know, you might figure that in too. Because maybe when you're actually sitting there thinking about it, everything you need to do and you're going to have to do in order to reach that goal, you might think, you know, why am I doing this? This is really not what I want to do. And most people have some kind, or sometime in their life, they had something that they really wanted to do. They had some kind of dream. And unfortunately, most people go to their grave with that dream. And it's never gotten acknowledged. And I'm not saying that most people could just like quit their job and say, okay, you know, I wanted to be a fireman when I was a little boy, so I'm just going to go be a fireman. Obviously, you know, like these guys. We're going to go be a fireman. They probably couldn't go be a fireman. They probably wouldn't meet the requirements. But what they could do, if they did have that dream and they still remembered it, they could volunteer for something, couldn't they? They could do something to help themselves grow, to get back to that dream. Recently, we were at a meeting, and this young man that I thought he was perfect in his career. You know, he's a perfect fit for his career. He dressed the part, he talked the part, everything. And I was just shocked. He said one morning, he said, you know what I would really like to do, just kind of out of the clear blue sky, because he's kind of quiet. He said, you know what I would really like to do, I always wanted to do, was be a forest ranger in Colorado. Wow. And I was just like, wow. I said, why don't you go do it? Because he didn't have kids, you know, he could. Why don't you go do it? Well, you know, I would really like to, but I need to stay, you know, where I am for a while. And I thought, you know, what's going to happen is he's just going to keep staying there, and he's never going to make the change. Well, that's okay if that's his decision. But since he did realize that, if he was making a family goal, which is where the family goes now, we're moving right into that. I can't see the clock, so I don't want to... Are you watching, Carol?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, good. So if he were doing the family goal, maybe he could share that with his wife, because maybe he never shared that with her. Maybe she didn't know. So maybe if he shared it with his wife and they both, maybe they would make the decision that he could just do it. That would be the best scenario. But maybe they couldn't. Maybe they would have had children or whatever, and they couldn't. He could do something, though, you know, related to that. He could go work at the forest, volunteer to work at the forest preserve, or do something. So if you had a dream, then you need to share it with your partner and because you know what that does? That allows your partner to share with you what their dream is. And we all think we know what our partners, we think we know our partners so well. And, you know, with over a 50% divorce rate and over 70% for second marriages, I kind of think we don't.
Well, those people didn't.
But you know what? That was a good thing to say, Fatima, because those people didn't. But how many people didn't get divorced but are living unhappy lives?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that. I was thinking they were a little better communicators in the first group.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
You know, and it's a simple thing. So maybe it gives that person an opportunity to sort of share their life and just earn kids. And I was thinking about this so much, and before I had never really thought about the problems that might be prevented by having family goals and, you know, that kind of goals, because usually we just think of business goals and then we have them all listed together. You know, these are the areas of your life that you need to make goals in, but we never really get past in training, and that we almost never get past the business goals. We say, yeah, you know, you should do this, this, and this. But then I started thinking about it, you know, and I thought, this is so simple. And you know why goals are really magic and they're so easy and everything. So if they're really that easy and that magic, why doesn't everybody do them? Why do we only have 7% of people with goals? Well, it's because but they're so easy to do, but they're also so easy not to do. And we tend not to put much value on things that's really easy and free. I mean, it doesn't cost you a dime. You go home, Oreos, milk, hit the room. Maybe you take a gallon. You just never know. Whatever it takes. But the family goals, but I was thinking about it, and then just by chance, I happened to be passing the TV, and I saw them interview Will Smith and his wife Jada, and their 2 children. And the first thing, and the interviewer said, how do you guys do it? How do you keep it together? You know, you're both stars, and the children are into acting now and everything. And Jada said, we have family goals. And we treat our family like a business in the fact that everybody in the family has goals, and we help our children, you know, define goals for themselves. And we have family meetings, and we discuss the goals. And I thought, wow, you know, I didn't think anybody actually did that. But that is such a good thing to do, because it's teaching the kids so much. And it's learning them to make decisions. It's learning them to strive hard. Sometimes they, you know, may not make it. Most of the time, they will. And not only that, but if you share if you have common goals, you're forging a bond with the person. So you're becoming, you know, closer with them. If you have children or grandchildren, might work in a small way. Then you know, you could help your grandchildren, you know, make a goal, little goals along the way. And then you're going to be discussing, of course, when you do the family goals, even though you've thought it out in your mind first and you kind of know where it's going to go, right? Because you're the one that's sort of steering the whole thing. For example, the things that you need to set goals in would be to improve yourself. To improve yourself. To learn. We should never stop learning. You know, and so many times adults do. And if you ask anybody why they're not learning something, why they're not doing something to improve themselves, they say they don't have time. That's the standard answer. I mean, I hear that all the time. If we ask for volunteers for something here at the chamber, you know, we're looking for people to serve on a committee. I don't have time. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. And yet, we all have the same time. And we can all figure out ways to, you know, to improve ourselves. And then we want a goal also to improve yourself. Maybe not just physically. Of course, exercise is always a favorite. After January the 1st, join the exercise place and then not go. Let's face it, exercise places, they usually have facilities maybe that would, for 50, and they have 1,000 applications, you know, like, what happens if everybody comes? Oh, well, we'll worry about that.
That's why we like those places.